Good morning on this Friday, February 26, 2021, and we have an exciting show for you this morning. First up, moved by a need to help his students, a South Carolina high school principal took a part-time job at Walmart and donated his paycheck to those in need. Principal Henry Darby, a principal at North Charleston High School, is considered a hero, and rightfully so. He understood the bigger picture. He started working at Walmart 3 nights a week, stocking shelves from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. just to help his students, some of who were homeless, living under a bridge. And later, we're going to talk to David James, the Vice President of Baseball and Softball Development at Major League Baseball. David also runs the National Office of the Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities program, and they have a special weekend with Black churches this week. So we're going to talk to both of them, but first we're going to bring on our CEO, Dr. Ben Chavis. Good morning, Dr. Chavis.
Good morning, Stacy, and on behalf of the Black Press of America, we greet you. We thank Karen Carter Richards, our chair of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, all of our publishers across the country. We're excited. This has been a great Black History Month. We've lifted up so many of our heroes and our sheroes, and we're going to do that again this morning. So thank you.
Absolutely, Dr. Chavis. Thanks to you and your team, Dr. Chavis. You continue to lead us in the right direction. So without further ado, let's bring on Principal Henry Darby. Good morning, Principal Darby. It is absolutely a privilege to have you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. It's good to be here.
Great to have you. Dr. Darby, let's get right into it. You were principal at North Charleston High School, and something happened to make you take a part-time job at Walmart. Explain to our viewers what happened.
Well, sir, it was just the continued need of my students and their parents. It was just something that I just could not go beyond in terms of their needs. And over the years, I've been trying to come out of pocket, and come to find out there were some overdraft checks over and over again, but yet I still, had to help out with the need. So common sense dictated the next step is to get a job.
Even though you have a really challenging full-time job. So tell us about that job.
Oh, my goodness. Dr. Chavis, when I saw the need, again, there were some students sleeping on the bridges. One of my former students and her daughter was sleeping in a car. When I would visit the various homes, there were no mattresses, curtains. Parents would sometimes hold me at bay at the door because there was no electricity, and I wanted to do something. So I applied for a position at Walmart, which is in close proximity to my home and my job. And I was of the opinion that Walmart was not going to hire me because as the principal, they would figure that I did not have enough time. But lo and behold, I was one of the very first one that they hired. So I was very appreciative of Walmart for giving me the chance to work that I may assist my students and their parents.
It is quite amazing, Dr. Chavis.
Absolutely. And, I know some of the executives of Walmart down at their headquarters in Arkansas. We need to be lifting your story up, good brother. Being a principal and serving African American and other students. Charleston is a great historic city.
Yes, sir.
Stacy and I were in Charleston last year when we were with Clyburn, and we were the first to give Vice President Biden at that time his major interview. And look where we are now, over 12 months later, he's in the White House. Kamala Harris is the vice president. So you never know what your good works will bring in the future. And you've done so many good works for the school, for the kids at the school, now the children in the community, the parents. Principal, you're a shining example of what it means to be a Black history maker.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. I did my best to have kept it esoteric, but the very first night, one of my students saw me at Walmart, yelled out, "Mr. Darby, you work for Walmart?" And that was it. I couldn't keep it secret, sir. So I didn't seek this attention at all, but I'm very grateful to Walmart and to the nation as a whole, really. We have gathered and to support my students. We have procured some funds that would assist them with their scholarships, food, clothing, their rent, mortgage. It has really been a blessing particularly during the strikes within the nation at this time.
Great. I see all of you had your mask on. You were social distancing, practicing the protocols, and you're doing good, but also keeping people safe at the same time.
Oh, yes, sir. That's a particular here within Charleston County School District. Our superintendent, Dr. Postlewaite, mandates that. So we do the very best that we could. Sometimes in the hallways, it's almost like herding cats, but we do our very best to maintain safety, sir. That is first and foremost.
And Principal Darby, you've helped a lot of people with this job at Walmart. You've decided to keep that job. Can you explain that?
Well, yes, sir. The reason is I don't want to be dishonest or morally wrong, because, again, Walmart did not have to do this. And I just want to show my appreciation by staying. And it's the least that I could do, because there's also a health benefit at working at Walmart. When I went to Walmart, I was wearing 260 pounds. And today I'm wearing 220. So wow. It is something good to work at Walmart.
Congratulations. You got to have good health. That's congratulations.
Yes, sir. So I don't look at it as a job, Dr. Chivas and Mr. Brown. I really look at it as going to work, doing some exercise, because it really has helped me in terms of my weight.
Wow. So the benefits of working at Walmart includes good exercise, huh?
Yes, sir. That's stalking, man. I mean, just up and down, man. So you have to lose weight with that, because I assiduously contemplated that, since if I were home from 10 to 7 and I don't eat, I would apply that at Walmart, and the weight just like whoosh just went down, sir. So, but I do eat a healthy breakfast, when I get to school, sir.
And Mr. Darby, it has to also help to instill in the children a great work ethic. Can you talk about that? Have you had that type of feedback?
Oh, yes, sir. At first, many of my students thought it was beneath them to work at Walmart. And now I have a number of children working at Walmart because they are principals there. Walmart has a need for young people. And yes, sir, it very much so. As a matter of fact, Mr. Rodney Murphy, my job coach, my special education students who are in need of various positions. So, yes, so they thought Walmart was beneath them, but now they are quite proud working there, because, hey, I'm working along and beside my principal.
Wow. It is amazing, Principal Darby. So how long has this been going on, Principal Darby? I know that I came across your story. I wrote it for the Black Press, www.blackpressusa.com, a couple of weeks ago. How long have you been doing this exactly?
I've been working at Walmart now since August of last year.
Wow. And it flew under the radar all this time. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, like
indeed.
That was by design, though.
Yes, it was. Very much so. The local newspaper picked up on it, and since then, that was it, sir.
Yeah. So one of our major newspapers is the Charleston Chronicle. We've known the French family for many, many years. We're so glad to have one of our African-American newspapers to cover your story. Tell our listening audience, Principal Darby, how can people contribute that want to help what you're doing, help your school, help the community of Charleston?
Well, if someone is desirous, they can just write or donate a check to North Charleston High School, 1087 East Montague Avenue, and that's North Charleston, South Carolina, 29405. But in addition to the dollars, which are important, if we could have volunteers to come to our school to speak to our students, if you have business networks here in Charleston to assist with interns and internship, I should say, to help us out, it goes a very long way, because the financial resources will not be with us always. But if we were to teach these children how to fish, that would be a definite. So along with the dollars, if we could have various internships, come speak to our kids, be visible. And also, if you could shadow a student and have that student shadow you, this is varied and various ways that we can help our students just beyond giving of the dollars, which
Absolutely.
is very important.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to take you up on your offer. I pledge to you as soon as this air restrictions pass by and we get a greater, better handle on this pandemic, I will personally come to Charleston, South Carolina, to North Charleston High School, and talk to you and your students, and to give them some encouragement on behalf of the Black press of America, and certainly on behalf of the Charleston Chronicle.
Dr. Chivas, it would be my pleasure, my honor, sir. I mean, just to be in your company, sir, would do me great, and my students, because I know about your history, sir, and your fight for civil rights. So I mean, thank you very much, sir. I'm humbled.
You're quite welcome.
I mean, I'm just happy right now, sir.
Well, thank you. I want you to take me over to that Walmart. I want to also thank them for the role that they're playing in the community. And this is what it's about. You know, the greatest leadership is the leadership that serves, servant leaders, those who make a difference in the quality of life of others. And that's what the Black press has been doing for 194 years, Principal Darby. This is our, since 1827, we're celebrating 194 years of the Black press this year. And we're going to tell your story not only in South Carolina, but we're going to tell your story across the nation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Principal Darby, before you go, I just want you to know that a lot of folks are watching, but particularly I'm noticing someone from Zimbabwe is watching this morning.
Wow.
All the way from Zimbabwe.
Africa, yes. Great.
Wow.
Harare, Zimbabwe. It's a great, I've been to Zimbabwe. It's one of the frontline states. They're making great progress. So shout out to our brothers and sisters in Africa. And of course, you know, Charleston, if we just talk history, Principal Darby, Brother Stacey Brown and I are writing a book on the transatlantic slave trade, 500 years, 1519 to now. And Charleston was a major, slave port.
Oh, yes.
And I went down to Savannah not too long ago, and we were talking about the 40 acres and a mule that was promised by General Sherman. And of course, that never happened. But the whole ports from Charleston all the way down to Florida were part of the land that was going to be granted to former enslaved Africans. But, you know, after the deal was signed, the new president of the United States at that time did a compromise and took away the deal, canceled out Sherman's promise for 40 acres and a mule. But Charleston is a great place, and we look forward to certainly staying in touch with you and making progress at your high school.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chivas.
We'd be
very appreciative.
Thank you, Principal Henry Darby, for joining us this morning. We know we got to let you go. You got a school full of teachers and students and other folks that you have to tend to, but we thank you for taking a few minutes this morning. Thanks a lot. And you will definitely be hearing from Dr. Chivas and the Black press going forward.
Thank you, sir. And a shout out to Thomas T. Fortune. I've always loved him, sir, as a student at Morris College. I studied him for a long time, sir. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
So what does Major League Baseball and the Black Church have in common? Well, here to talk about it is David James, the Vice President of Baseball and Softball Development of Major League Baseball. David also runs the National Office of the Reviving Baseball and Inner Cities Program, the RBI program. Good morning, David James.
Good morning, Mr. Brown, and good morning, Dr. Davis. So glad to be with you both this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So good to talk to you, and we appreciate your work and your leadership at Major League Baseball. And of course, we all were recently making a salute. We made a salute yesterday to the legacy of Jackie Robinson. Major League Baseball has lifted the aspirations of so many brothers and sisters in the African-American community, as well as other people of color communities. You know, without our ball players, Major League Baseball would not be what it is today.
Yes, sir. And obviously, we're all still mourning the recent passing of Hank Aaron,
yes,
a true Major League Baseball icon. And, I'm sure that there will be a lot of celebrations over the course of this upcoming season to honor his legacy. So, it's been interesting this past year. We had a shortened Major League season, but probably, unfortunately, the biggest impact was the ability of our kids and organizations in the RBI program and their ability to play. So we're really focusing on what we can do to get them back out on the field this year.
Yeah, absolutely. David, let me just ask him a quick question about the pipeline I'm always concerned about young African American students who aspire to be Major League Baseball players. Tell us something about the opportunities in Major League Baseball for African American aspirants in baseball.
So really, there's a lot of really good opportunities. Commissioner Manfred has really committed to growing the diversity of the game and recognizing the contribution and history of African Americans in our sport. So our particular department, baseball and softball development, my responsibilities are primarily on the grassroots side, making sure that the game is being played in the communities and those that are hosting league get all of that support. Tony Regans heads up our department, and he and Del Matthews handle the development side. So there is a pipeline for those young men who have the ability, more importantly, to potentially secure a college scholarship, pursue the opportunity to play at the professional level. And then also there's an infrastructure in place now in regards to, looking for careers. I'm fortunate enough to work for Major League Baseball, but, analytics, wanting to, be in a front office, the opportunity potentially to become a coach one day. And then probably what surprises a lot of people that our department is called baseball and softball development. So we are replicating a lot of our programming on the softball side. And for girls who want to play baseball, Bianca Smith was just recently named as a minor league coach. So there's a lot of opportunities in baseball. I'm proud to work here. There is a strong commitment to making sure that African-American communities stay tied to the game and explore all of the different levels of opportunities within the sport.
Yeah, we the Black Press just did that story about Bianca Smith as well. Congratulations to her and Major League Baseball. That's a huge step in the right direction. David James, so this weekend some big events are planned with some Black churches. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, play was scattered this year, and we couldn't get out like we normally do. So there was a concerted effort here to, do outreach to African American churches. So in a normal year, we have these standard play ball events and introducing kids to the game in an informal setting. And so we did some intentional outreach to Black churches across the country and asked them if they would be interested in hosting us for drive-through play ball events, obviously being social distance, but wanted to piggyback on events that they were already doing where we would hand out bat and ball sets to kids. And we did about 6 over the course of the summer, and it really gained a lot of traction. So this weekend we have 3 events. One of them at Mother Emanuel African American Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina. We're doing another one with Greater New Zion Baptist Church in Oklahoma City, and then also Mount Olivet Baptist Church in Richmond, Virginia. And it's really been engaging events, and probably more importantly, what's coming out of this is these churches are then connecting with local RBI or other youth leagues in the community and coming out and volunteering and serving as coaches, and probably more importantly, being mentors.
Oh, and so obviously we know what you hope to reap from this, but realistically, David, we know a lot more has to be done in outreach into African Americans. But why has it been so difficult? When I was younger, I know that I played not minor league baseball, but pony leagues and little league and things like that. My brothers played, friends played. But what more needs to be done?
Well, I think within the youth sports space, it's been a little bit of the specialization, that at the youngest age, hey, you're only going to focus on this particular sport. There's the challenge of the travel ball mentality. Baseball is a hard sport. You're going to fail more than you succeed. And sometimes folks have started to lean towards, that easy gratification. Let's go play a tournament. But if you look at the sport, on the larger scale, the regular season is the most important part where you get an opportunity to hone your craft. So we're really trying to encourage kids to just go out there and play a full season. And you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. but going through that repetition overall, it's going to make you a better ball player at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Bobby Henry, our publisher down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, says that it was once said that Cool Papa Bell was so fast that he would cut the lights off and get in bed before the room was dark. So Bobby giving us that's a little Muhammad Ali-ism as well. So,
yes.
But David, so we know that you guys have baseball. Major League Baseball has made a concentrated effort to attract more minorities, particularly African Americans. What else is standing in the way, David? Can you talk about what else might be the obstacle and what else Major League Baseball is doing? Because obviously more has to be done.
Right. And again, I go back to access. One of the things that's really important in our communities is making sure, that the whole family comes out and supports it. So, dads are coaching, moms are coaching, concession stand, the interaction. One of the things that we're really focusing on going into this spring and summer is access to fields. From an RBI perspective, our program, a lot of our affiliates don't own their own fields. So they're going through this process with the Park and Recreation Department, getting their field permits, things like that. And obviously, we all know the financial impact of COVID. So municipalities are facing budget shortfalls. So those are the types of things that we're trying to address them to make sure that they're checking all the boxes. So when they go in and apply for their permit, they've got a plan in place and they can address to the owner of that facility, here's all the things that we're going to do to make sure that the kids are safe and that the family's going to come out and support so these kids have a wonderful experience playing this year.
Yeah, it sounds very progressive. David, it seems like Major League Baseball, by forming an alliance with African-American churches, are really trying to go on the extra mile here, David. Is more to come with the African-American churches?
Yes, we plan to do these all throughout the summer. As I mentioned, as these have gotten underway, there's been a lot of excitement about it. And probably most importantly, with the churches getting behind this, they're, spreading this message to the entire family. And I think, again, that's really what's important. I think we all know the history of the Negro Leagues, that, after Sunday services, everybody is dressed to the nines and then they go out and there's picnic lunch and the kids are playing baseball and softball. The adults are playing baseball and softball. And we'd like to see that sort of renaissance. So I think we're going to do more of these where we make it a little bit more of a celebratory event that bring the whole family out and enjoy the game.
Well, fantastic, David. We really appreciate it. We hope that we can get you to come back and talk more about this important topic, because baseball is the national pastime, and certainly it does create some great memories. There's some great young players as well of color. I mean, before we went live, we talked about Francisco Lindor. Of course, we saw what Fernando Tatis Jr. just signed a $340 million contract. What is he, 23 years old?
Yes.
So there's a lot of great young minority talent in Major League Baseball. As always, since Jackie Robinson walked through the doors in Brooklyn, there's always been great African-American talent, but there's a lot of young talent today, David, and I guess that speaks to the direction that Major League Baseball would like to go in.
Yeah, and you're also seeing the impact of African-American players at the collegiate level. Vanderbilt, Michigan, two of the top programs in the country are now actively recruiting African-American players. So, again, it's a hard sport, and there's been a lot of conversation about doom and gloom in regards to the black player, but there's a lot of positive things out there happening, and especially the young men, and even on the softball, the young women that are, using the sport to take care of their college education. And I think you'll see more to come in that area soon also.
Well, and there's a suggestion from our publisher down in Fort Lauderdale again, Bobby Henry. He says, there's 230 African-American newspapers and media companies within the National Newspaper Publishers Association. So partner with each of them, and you'll reap the benefits of that. You'll get a whole lot of African Americans into baseball, David. So there you have it.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously being with you gentlemen today also helps get the message out. So we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thanks, David. Dr. Chavis, final thoughts?
Yes, I just wanted to pick up Bobby Henry's suggestion, David. The National Newspaper Publishers Association, we would love to have a partnership with Major League Baseball to help get your messaging out, all the great work you're now doing with those churches. We have major papers in all those cities that you named, and I'm sure in the future, rollout of the program. We just find that our young people need to be encouraged. Our parents need to be encouraged. And the opportunities that you cited that are available, even though it's a hard sport, a rigor, we know that the history of Black people in sports, we rise to the occasion, no matter what the rigor is, no matter what the challenges are, if given the opportunity. So we want to partner with Major League Baseball to help you and Major League Baseball get your messages out.
Thank you. And we will make sure that we do that follow-up. As I said, if it wasn't for the pandemic, if we were back to normal, we're not sure if we would have done this engagement. And now that we're doing it, we're really seeing the potential there. So I agree with you wholeheartedly that we should continue this work together.
Yeah, and David, we need the DH, David. So you tell the commissioner, tell Tony Clark as well. I'll mediate that discussion.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pass that on for you.
You do that. Thanks a lot. David James of Major League Baseball. Well, all month, we've been celebrating and observing Black History Month with remembrance. Today, on our last of the month, Dr. Chavis, you have to stay still because we remember Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. and the Wilmington 10. Just over 50 years ago, on February 1st, 1971, a young minister named Benjamin Franklin Chavis Jr. arrived in Wilmington, North Carolina at the request of a local preacher who wanted the Martin Luther King Jr. disciple to take charge of a boycott against reluctantly desegregated high schools that refused demands to honor King, who was assassinated just 3 years earlier. 1 year after King's murder, the city had just 3 high schools, the all-white New Hanover and Hogarth, and the all-Black Williston Senior High School. Black teachers and students were reassigned in 1969 to New Hanover and Hogarth, while officials closed Williston. At the schools, African Americans endured racially motivated name-calling, physical attacks, and threats, while rioting and arson occurred almost daily. Chavis and a group that became known as the Wilmington 10 argued for Black history courses, respect for Dr. King and all Black people, and most importantly, equality. Eventually, Dr. Chavis and the group were targeted and falsely accused and arrested of felony offenses and served as political prisoners for nearly a decade. And in 2012, 40 years after they were unjustly convicted, North Carolina Governor Beverly Perdue pardoned the Wilmington 10. Dr. Chavis has continued his long civil rights career fighting for and bringing to light some other things like environmental racism. He worked with Russell Simmons on the Hip Hop Summit, helped lead the Million Man March, and served as the president of the NAACP. He also starred in the movie Belly. And of course, Dr. Chavis is the president and CEO of the NNPA, the Black Press of America, where even during the devastating pandemic, he's led the organization to perhaps its most prosperous years in the 194-year history of the Black press. Dr. Chavis also hosts a weekly show, The Chavis Chronicles, each Sunday at 11 a.m. on PBS and PBS World. We say congratulations to our president and CEO, Dr. Ben Chavis. Let it be known, all great achievements require time. We will see you Monday. Enjoy your weekend.